Okay, guys, ready?
Okay. Where are we going from?
The top.
The top? Okay.
1, 2, 3.
So this is, I don't know what day it is, of finishing, maybe day 5 or something. The back is scuff sanded for hopefully the final session of coats. I'm gonna do probably 3 very thin coats. I've got a level and scuff sand the top, and once I get this side and the top done, then I'll apply the final clear coats. With the abrasives that I'm using, this says it's ultra fine 800 to 1000, or it's P800 to P1000. Now, this is not Mirka Abrolon. It's a Chinese copy from Temu, T-E-M-U, that website, however you call it. And at first, I was a little cynical about it. I thought it was a pretty low-end abrasive, and I thought, oh man, I'm just buying another cheap copy. But it's actually a really good abrasive. It's inexpensive, like everything on the interweb. 2,500, 2,000. There's 800 to 1,000. There's 3,000, and yeah, so there's and 1,200 to 1,500. So there's a variety of different grits, and it's really good for finishing. For some odd reason, it just doesn't really, the finish doesn't stick to the sandpaper. Now, maybe it depends on the finish that you're using. This particular finish is Anthem by Wood Essence in Saskatoon, and it's a lovely waterborne finish that is very comparable to nitrous cellulose, except it doesn't have the odor or the health and safety concerns. So just something to consider. So I'm gonna just keep on scuffing and leveling and working on getting it ready. And then over the next 8 to 10 hours, I'll get the next and final coats. But remember, the more sanding you do, the better your instrument will end up in the end. You'll get a nicer finish. The orange peel or the blobby finish is really because of not a poorly sprayed instrument only, like this poorly sprayed finish, but it's also the prep work. It's always the prep work behind the finish that leads to a good finish. If you don't do the proper preparation, then your finish will look like it. So always remember to put in the effort and carefully sand. So anyway, that's all for now. Thanks. So I've level sanded it, and put some more finish on. All right, so here is the finish that I like to use. It is Wood Essence Anthem. You can check out their website on the internet. They're based out of Saskatoon, Saskatchewan. They're great. It's the best. This is the best. This is my favorite. I love it. It's the best balance. You can't get a better overall medium. Something that's relatively safe. It's it's not going to explode. It's waterborne. It's fantastic. The other thing is, I always spray with a mask. Okay, so I'm going to put that on, and then I'll show you what I do. So basically, I have it all prep sanded. I'm just going to show you one coat. This is how I spray, and I'll try to make it so you can see from where you are. Okay. All right, so now I'm just gonna remove the tape in the F-holes here. It's kind of a fun stage because you get to see what it's going to look like as an instrument. This finish still needs to cure for a few days more yet. Probably next Tuesday I should be able to buff this thing out. That's a piece of finish. So right here you can see we got this piece of finish. I'm gonna measure that. That's how much finish I'll have sprayed in total. But can't forget that I've also sanded in between coats. So often I'll also have a piece of tape here. So this area, if I put a piece of tape on it, I can measure the tape later on and subtract the thickness of the tape. I know it sounds ridiculous, but it's actually a really nice way of determining how much finish is on your instrument. So let's see, I'll remove this little section for now. Pull it off. And I'm gonna first make sure it's just one piece of tape. It could be two pieces of tape. It could be three. See, I have one, two, three pieces. I'm gonna peel that off. This is such a boring little tidbit for anybody who's not making instruments, or maybe if you're just curious. Check it out. I don't know if you can see it there. So I've got the different layers of tape that are on there, and now I can see that there's another two right here. So the whole idea is I am going to make sure it is in fact just one layer of tape. It's two pieces of tape. Okay, there we go. So 2 pieces of tape are 3.5 thousandths of an inch. So whatever the thickness is, if I measure this, 0 at the calipers, 1 thou, you can see that? It's 14 thou. 14 thou minus 7 finishes like 6 or 7 thousandths of an inch thick. That's perfect. I want between 6 and 7 thousandths of an inch. All the old higher end guitars, as far as I'm concerned, I'll always classify a vintage Martin as a high end instrument. No matter what anybody says, you can have your opinions, that's fine. They're very good quality instruments. That's, I think, undisputable. And then people also have their opinions. So like, oh, these Martins are bad because of these reasons. All that stuff. I can talk about that for a long time. I'm not going to right now. But all the good Martins that I've been able to measure, the finish ends up being 6 or 7 thousandths of an inch. And here's another spot here I can measure that. So this is the total amount of finish that I would have put on it. Well, I'll just measure this one because this is, what's this? This is without sanding. Oh, this one just says 6 thou. But is it? Well, it's neat though. Eh? You have the F-holes tape off. Suddenly it's those are more like an instrument here. And that's one float around. Oh, I'll get that out later on. Okay. Well, that's good. So now I need to get my Mennonite screwdriver. Okay, so why do I call this a Mennonite screwdriver? It used to be called the Hutterite screwdriver because back when I lived in Argyle, Manitoba, or just north of Argyle, I needed some sort of screwdriver that would be really long, so I could use it for this exact purpose, for mandolins and archtop guitars, anywhere I couldn't access with my hands, the inside of the guitar or the mandolin. And there's a Hutterite colony that opened up a welding fabrication shop on the edge of town. So I went to Princess Auto in Canada. It's sort of like Harbor Freight in the States. And I went to Princess Auto, got myself a long slot head screwdriver, ground it down so it was about a 1/4 inch in diameter overall. Gave them a good quality Allen key, and I asked them to, weld it together for me. And because they were Hutterites, it was made by the Hutterites, so I called it the Hutterite screwdriver. Although I made it mostly, I just didn't do the welding. So, but fast forward, I bought a welder a few years back, and then it broke, so I welded it back together. Thus, I was the one who made it entirely. So now, I guess it's a Mennonite screwdriver. Hey, not bad, eh? Okay. So there's that bolt. Oh, that's not even the right bolt anyway. So I have to swap that out. So I'm gonna have to take that bolt out. Now I'll show you. This is one of the things. This is how I kind of do it. So I have try to use gravity whenever you can, and I have it set up in such a way that I can put this on an angle. There's an angled slot. Alright, got it out. Gotta always make sure you don't damage the sound hole. I don't know, any of you ever work on violins and you see somebody with a violin that comes in and that F hole's all mangled up because some dude was trying to use a set of needle nose pliers to set the sound post? You don't want to be that guy. And it makes me wonder, how on earth did I get this little friend in there, right? I did. There we go. Okay, so that's just the mounting bolt. This bolt over here is the one that was cut down to the appropriate length for this particular task. So I will now remove this very carefully. I just want to see how it looks. I want to see how this mandolin looks. I'm excited. I get filled with anticipation when I'm making something like this. You know? Yeah. Pretend that you're all sad, you gotta go work in the morning. It's like, oh man, my life is so difficult, I have to work. And then you come in here and you get to work on the mandolin. That's pretty exciting, I think. So I'm gonna carefully trim around here. This is inside the joint. So this is not the permanent way that I'm gonna be fitting it. Can you see that? I hope it's not, out of sight. So that's the raw wood right there. And what I'm gonna do is put it in to see how it looks. If my calculations are correct, everything should be pretty smooth, pretty lickety split. Maybe I made a major fitment error before, but I think all I'm going to need to do is mark off exactly where the finishes. I got to clean that up too. This is going to be something I need to clean up really carefully, but for now, there's some dust there. And then there's this. See, I've been wondering how well I taped off that sunburst area. I've been concerned, like maybe I wasn't careful enough. Maybe I taped over an area that is going to be revealed. So we'll find out right now. We're going to see here. Okay, so I got the body, got the neck, and oh yeah, okay, good. Everything is as it should be. So that's very good. I'm very pleased with that. Next thing is going to be the tape. Now, I don't want to risk any peeling, so perhaps what I'll do is take a sanding block here. I've got a cork block. I'm just going to knock down the very top corner. So last night I was at a band practice, and I think ergonomics are always one of the most important things. If you have something that sounds great but is ergonomically not exactly to your liking, then what's going to happen is you'll have an instrument that sounds great that is going to be not comfortable to play. That's the opposite of what you want, right? So as I was doing the chop, being the mandolin player in a bluegrass band, I do a lot of chopping. Gets me out of trouble for not having the same kind of talent as some of the other players. But with my chop, I realized that right here on my Anderson, my Gerald Anderson, made in the shop of Wayne Henderson in 1988, originally owned by cousin John Goertzen, the first recorded Canadian bluegrass mandolin player in history. That's my grandpa. Anyway, yeah, basically, it's curved here. It's got a little radius. It's got to be like a quarter-inch radius or something. And just that little radius right there makes it so it's smooth. So I'm tempted. I might actually modify this. We'll see. We'll see how things go and see what happens. But as it is for now, I'm mainly just gonna see how this neck fits into the pocket. See if everything's good, or if I've got a train wreck to deal with. But I think it should be good. So from the front, that looks good. There's this one little section of material in this corner that I got to knock off, and that was intentional. So I'll just quickly just knock off that corner. I just put a little black stripe here. That's all. Nothing. Not a robot appliance or anything. So I was thinking of adding a subscription service to these instruments. Pay an extra 20 bucks a month. I remotely unlock extra tonal features, just like all the cars and computers these days, eh? Imagine that. Yeah. That's not too pretty good. That's pretty neat. You see, the whole idea with this was to have a pretty clean join that kind of looks like a normal mandolin. But when it comes time to resetting, anywhere there's going to be hide glue, it's easy access for a luthier with a spatula. And I think this does it. I was wondering, like, am I gonna have to spray finish in these corners, or will I be able to just let it be? And I think pretty good chance I'll be able to just let it be. So that's pretty rad. That's pretty rad. So, all right. Well, this friend needs to cure for the next 4 days, and then next week I'll come back and buff it out, install the hardware, and we'll see how it sounds. So I'll let you wait over the course of the weekend, and we'll do a little tonal sample when next week starts. All right, thanks for watching. Take care. Okay, so one last little thing. I'm just going to show you the way that I like to do this little bolt. So this is the bolt that's been cut down to be the appropriate size. So first, I'll carefully get that. Oh, I dropped it. That wasn't a bad sound. That was just me, the pliers squeezing the bolt out. Okay, so this is how it's like a game, like a game operation when you're a kid. Alright, so I got it again. And gravity, please help me. Gravity, I need you. Okay, there we go. So now it's in. That's sort of how it goes, right? And then any unfinished wood surface area that you see is gonna have hide glue. Hide glue specifically for the purpose of making removal easy. So it's gonna be a combination of hide glue and the bolt. I've heard some mandolins I've played and listened to, and I'll tell you, first-hand experience. The bolt helps with tone, no matter what anybody says. If they haven't heard it, they might not necessarily know it, but the bolt does help with tone. So there, so that's my little mandolin.